Now, government has ruled out activities grinding to a halt as more state institutions shut down their offices to manage the spread of COVID-19. Some state institutions have directed almost all their staff to work from home as the virus hits workplaces. But Chief Executive of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, says government had already instituted measures since March to deal with this challenge. He spoke on PM Express on JoyNews.
Yeah, we are looking closely at our operations and interactions and reducing the numbers. And so, yes, we are in constant review of what's going on. So we are worried, but I think we are managing it. You don't know, even the WHO doesn't know what's what I see.
You talk about managing, that is putting it mildly. I mean, because if you talk about Bosch, you talk about cocoa board has been a major contributor to the economy for years. Yeah. This economy rides on the back of a syndicated loan. Are we heading for an economic crisis, or are we in one already?
No, we've had contingency plans put in place in March. And I remember a directive from the president to all of us was to prepare ourselves for the uneventful or eventful COVID impact on us. So we developed our ICT infrastructure very well. And from March, April, most of our meetings, board management, are virtually conducted. And so we've taken into account all of them. And directives have gone out to the board chairs and the board members as to how to engage with management and try and prevent the spread. So yes, you like it or not, there will be some incidents, but we'll manage it.
Do you expect more to be affected?
I hope not, because we're now talking to everybody what are the measures to put in place since then. And the case of Bosch was a bit strange, because a whole batch of about 27 thereabout all tested positive. It was a bit strange. I'm told today, Monday, they will do a second test, so we'll know the actual numbers. Cocoa board, there were a few who tested positive, but they had to take precaution and shut down the head office. But the CEOs have set up off-site offices where they have to go and sign documents if they have to. Alternatively, it's scanned to them at home and they scan it back. And so there's uninterrupted business going on. The continuity of government business is my concern, is a concern of the president. And for us, we need to make sure the government business goes on.
Well, Mr. Asamoah-Boateng in that interview also assured government is doing all it can to mitigate the impact of the pandemic on the economy.
Obviously, when people lose their jobs, it doesn't matter what it is, it's personal, it hit them, the family, and so life becomes a bit gloomy, and so there's no feel-good factor anywhere, and that may translate into votes. But it's a point of it's communication, isn't it? It's how it came about and what is the hope or what are the plans to revive the economy. Then they begin to understand, yeah, it's a temporary problem, and so we can overcome it. Indeed, that's what we're trying to explain. COVID hit all of us, United States, UK, everybody. At first, we all thought it wasn't our problem, it was a Chinese problem, but nobody really anticipated it. But since then, the President has taken measures which have put the economy in a way that was not, well, let me put it this way, it was going bad. And he quickly put in measures. Remember his directive to the Minister of Finance to put in some alleviation measures. And then, of course, took the measures on the ECG, the electricity tariffs and water. So there were measures. And, of course, the frontline workers, the health, he had to do that. Although money is difficult to come by, but if we put our brains to it, we can find. And Minister of Finance done extremely well under the circumstance. So, for instance, let me give an example of, we anticipated or we estimated dividend payment, for instance, to the consolidated account from our SOEs of somewhere around 1.2 billion thereabout. But now it's come down drastically. It's not completely been eradicated or it's not completely vanished, but we are all lowering our estimation and also revising our notes and budgets and our programs. And so we are getting some dividends coming in, but not all of them. As you can see, there's a check standing here, which I was expecting more than that. I was expecting about 16 million, but they brought 9 million. So yes, if we had not put in place those measures, we would have lost the 9 million from one of the companies. So it's not bad. So I would assure people that the measures have put us on an even keel. It's not as bad as we thought initially. But between an election, it's not easy creating jobs. I mean, that one, we must be frank about it. But there are areas that jobs can be created, like the NIEP, the initiative from the National Entrepreneurial Initiative Program, so that it's not government creating, it's your personal initiative, which we are training people. I also noticed the YEA also getting involved with Ministry of Sports, for instance, to create jobs within the sports industry. So there are areas we do, and of course the President created a 600 million for the Coronavirus Alleviation Fund, which I'm informed that a lot of small businesses are benefiting across the country. So we're taking measures to alleviate it. It's not in normal time, but we can do something that would limit the damage.